We coach Little League in the blue states. And yes, we've got some gay friends in the red states.
Barack Obama inherited a substantial amount of economical and geopolitical issues as he entered his presidency. Obama's leadership methods and techniques vary quite a bit per situation to address these issues, which puts him under the umbrella of leaders who use situational leadership as a leadership style. Situational leadership, if summarized, is leadership that imposes or relaxes power as the leader sees fit. Obama imposed power in several ways when addressing the issues previously mentioned, but there is no greater example of using power to suppress the decisions made by your subordinates than issuing clemency. Clemency, otherwise known as a pardon, is when the president absolves a person of guilt as if the crime has never happened, no matter if it's before or after conviction, and Obama granted clemency to 1,927 individuals over 8 years. On the opposite side of this decision-making, there are examples of his ability to restrain power. The best example is his restraint with U.S. military foreign intervention. When Obama took office, he made it his priority to bring troops home from Iraq and Afghanistan, and in his years of presidency, he accomplished this task of turning what was a large-scale military involvement into a much smaller-scale military presence, and ended up not engaging into large military commitments in places like Syria or Libya. These are the most impactful decisions that Obama has made to date because of the lives that were on the balance of these decisions. Critics say that Obama could have prevented situations like Syria from getting to the point in which, according to the Syrian Humane Rights Watch, has left over 500,000 dead and over 10 million displaced internally and internationally as refugees.
The fact that so many people are surprised to hear that anger in some of Reverend Wright's sermons simply reminds us of the old truism that the most segregated hour of American life occurs on Sunday morning.
So trait theory is one of the earliest attempts to fashion a theory of leadership. In Obama's 2008 election campaign, the nickname No Drama Obama gained popularity to show his calmness and emotional stability. His calmness is a contrast compared to previous presidents, hence showing that he never stressed in any situation and didn't make irrational decisions that were emotionally driven, which is what made him a good leader. Obama was also a charismatic leader, making strangers care about him deeply. During his campaign and time as president, he had this need to energize and feed his country, which he did successfully. No matter what he talks about, he articulates a vision that the audience quickly can make their own. During his 2008 election campaign, he gained major popularity through his Yes We Can mindset. As a leader, it is very important to show your targeted audience that you have the confidence and the mindset to complete the promises you stated. Our world more often than not gives a competitive edge to those of us who most closely resemble whatever physical and behavioral model of cultural attractiveness happens to be current. In trait leadership, it is seen that physical attractiveness is very important to be an effective leader.
There are too many Americans who are hurting right now for us to just sit by and do nothing. Now is the time to act. Now is the time to say, yes, we can.
The Bush administration was one of extreme controversy, and many of the most popular entertainment artifacts of the time reflected society's general desire for healing after a prolonged 8 years of arguing amongst each other about just or unjust wars and the surface-level incompetence of the president. Possibly due in part to the readiness for change of the American people, and also due to the strength of Obama's bright future campaign messaging, the social discourse began to weave the narrative that Obama's election marked the beginning of a post-racial era, wherein the broken relations between the United States government and its minority races, also known as Kelly's alienated, disgruntled, and disillusioned followers, would start down a healing path towards a future where everybody treated race as the social construct it is known to be. Many, if not all of America's minority races, have felt the sharp inefficiencies and prejudices inherent to the government's racist history and continued existence, leading them to put most of their energies into fighting rather than serving their organizations because they've become disillusioned with their leaders or feel unappreciated, mirroring exactly those characteristics of alienated followers described by Kelly.
Transformational leader is associated with change and is described as someone who is creative, motivational, interactive, empowering, and is able to create vision amongst their followership. Transformational leadership places inborn incentive on their followers and in this way creates an enormous appeal to supporters. President Barack Obama positioned himself for the presidency on a platform of change. By inspiring the American population, speaking of a future of accessible healthcare, sustainable energy practices, and a reduction of poverty, his election was a transformational moment for America. The day he got elected as America's first African American Prime Minister was when he commenced change across the country. Intense social, technological, and demographical changes have swept across the country during Obama's term, as have significant evolutions in government policies and prevailing beliefs of public.